This actress named Saoirse Ronan recently appeared along with other actors on the Graham Norton show. And she basically was in the middle of this conversation where everyone was broing out, joking around with each other. And she decided to immediately ruin the vibe by making a feminist statement so it would go viral on Twitter.
Here we go. We're probably going to get demonetized.
Give us the context, though, because Paul Mescal is in this clip and he's talking about a movie he recently did.
So yeah, I'll just read you through how they explained it. So it says, it says the actress joined Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal, and Eddie Redmayne on last Friday's Graham Norton show, where Ronan sat quietly at first listening to the men chatting. I want you to listen to the framing here from TMZ, which is feminist framing to begin with, which is like all the dudes are there, they're being macho, they're broing out, they're talking. Hold please. Hold please.
Thank you.
We can dance.
She's not going to kill our vibe. We'll never let her.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat.
All right. So anyways, the guys are all broing out. They're talking about their work, as bros do. The actress joined Denzel Washington. In particular, Redmayne was discussing how he prepped for his physically demanding role as an assassin in the TV miniseries The Day of the Jackal. Redmayne explained that he learned how to use a cell phone as a weapon if a nemesis ever attacked him. So he had to learn how to do that for one of his scenes. This prompted Mescal and Norton, the show's host, to crack jokes about pulling out a phone to defend themselves in the face of a violent assault. In fact, Norton did an impression mocking a person for doing just that while pointing to the fictitious assailant and saying, "Can you hold on a second?" So they're not mocking the fictitious victim of a fictitious assault. They're mocking a joke.
The scene writing,
the idea of this
situation
as a whole. And of course, you know, the bros are having a good time broing out, and she had to just interject.
She was like, this would go crazy on Twitter. Watch me do this.
Take the shoe off. And
I find some of the techniques, though, that you learn, like some of the things Paul taught us, is how you can use your phone if someone's attacking you, the butt of your phone to go over the neck.
Who's actually going to think about that? If someone attacks me, I'm not going to go phone.
I agree.
Sorry, Mom, 1 second.
That's a very good point.
But I like the
That's what girls have to think about all the time.
Yeah.
Am I right, ladies?
Pause for activism.
That's what girls have to think about all the time. So Irish. I kind of love her accent. But what she said really killed the vibe in the room.
Yeah, everyone's like,
it was really not necessary.
Everyone's like, we were just having a good time.
Yeah, and then so this post got reposted everywhere with millions of views because all of the Twitter feminists were obsessed with it. Like, she really ate that. They said Saoirse Ronan gagged the men. We love to see it. One said, do men ever watch themselves in these interviews, see themselves interrupt and talk over women and realize they need to change their behavior? Or do you think they don't notice that she's fighting to get a word in? And then this person responded, many may not recognize the interrupting behavior during interviews, but while others might notice but fail to change, it reflects a broader issue of awareness and respect.
Okay, here's the problem. All of that, whatever you think of that being true or not, just shut up. You're ruining the vibe. Seriously.
I mean, really, it's like if you're in a situation where you need to fight to get a word in, you didn't grow up with siblings. Well, seriously, that's the real red pill here. If you didn't grow up with siblings, especially brothers, this is a skill you wouldn't have learned. But I grew up with 2 brothers and everyone had to yell over each other and we needed to get our word in. So I know these things. And it's not about sexism.
On any given day, there could be comments saying Brett constantly interrupts Mary or comments saying Mary interrupts Brett.
Both and.
And that's what happens in settings like this. Is that's just the way it is.
Or at the dinner table when you're like a kid.
To me, it's more about like, I'm going to lose my train of thought. if I don't get because when you have these conversations, you're manufacturing the discussion and you're trying to make points that are different than the ones you might make in private. Sometimes a lot of it is just because I can't say certain things on air, and the things that I would actually say would get us banned, but they would probably be funnier. And this is it. This is feminism today in a nutshell, when it comes from limousine liberals and Hollywood types, is that you're in a room, everyone's just broing out, everyone's having a good time, and it has to become about sexism.
Well, feminism has turned into reenacting tweets in real life.
Yes, I mean, that's a huge part of it as well, right? Is everyone wants to have the and then everybody clapped moment.
Yes.
And she actually manufactured the and then everyone clapped moment
Yeah.
because she asked the audience to applaud
It
by
was
saying,
silence,
am I
which was
right,
like-
ladies?
Please, she had her Jeb Bush moment. Please clap. Like, literally, she said, please clap. And like these tweets, they're like, if you're walking down the street and there is a man walking the opposite direction, don't get out of his way. Show him that you're the boss and you're not going to move for a man.
Yeah.
Like, and then you see someone do that in real life and it's like, okay, you're clearly thinking a lot more about yourself than anyone else is. There's also this clip of Anne Hathaway from an old late night appearance doing something similar, but I don't think her joke landed.
What's your favourite romantic comedy?
I have two. It's Notting Hill and
Match.
yeah, so classic. And more recently, Gone Girl. Right?
What's your favourite?
She tried. She gave it a shot. Okay, she tried.
That is a frustrating thing when you make a joke, but everyone thinks that you're just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I've definitely
happen
been
to
in
you?
that situation.
Can you give me an example when that's happening?
I don't know. It happens so often I don't even keep track anymore.
Yeah.
But people usually, they kind of just assume that I'm crazy if I say something like that.
That to
Which
me
is funny enough to me.
That type of activism is just, that's the definition of what is wrong with it, which is that time and place matters. And having an opinion about the relationship between men and women, and certainly violence against women, is a perfectly valid concern to have. Maybe not when you're on a late night talk show with a bunch of people having a good time and kind of that vibe that they have in that room there. That's the whole goal.
Right.
The whole goal when an interviewer has 3 or 4 people on is to engage each member and make it seem like everyone's just hanging out, which actually isn't super easy. You're dealing with a bunch of different people. Every single one of them could be coming off of a different mood that they were on right before they went live. They're all dealing with their own stuff. They've all got their own things going on in their lives, but they have to make it about them. The feminist or the activist of any sort, doesn't just have to be a woman, have to make it about them and their cause, which isn't the point of this discussion. Don't you get enough of that when all the celebrities take a 6-month sabbatical to go and, campaign for politicians?
Or don't you get enough of that feeling of activism when you're on a press tour for your own movie and you get to make it into a political issue? But that's the point. I feel like what's funny about this is all of these men, these men in the arts who believe themselves to be actors.
Yes.
They're the ones who take things like that super seriously.
Yeah.
So she really gagged them because I can tell if Paul Mescal's off the shoulder top that he's wearing is any way to judge his character and his political views and his social views.
He's got as less of a chance against a mugger as you do.
He just got checked.
Yeah.
He was like, whoa, she just checked my misogyny. I'm going to have an existential crisis after this. Because you just know he's a you go girl male feminist, and she gagged him.
The audience erupted into loud applause as the men in the panel were left totally speechless. No, they weren't. She completely stopped the conversation and changed the entire tone of what they were talking about. This isn't somebody owning other people. The whole point of the discussion isn't to own anyone.
The silence after Saoirse's "that's what girls have to think about all the time." Oh, you just know they all felt stupid after that. Wow.
I just can't. I can't with it because it's not the point.
When another person asked if men noticed their behavior of interrupting and talking over women, this person replied, "Men don't notice. They don't notice the murder, the abuse, the misogyny. It doesn't affect them, so they don't register it. That's why hashtag not all men, because as far as they're concerned, that stuff hardly ever happens." I'm sorry, how is what we saw in this video akin to abuse and murder?
This is why nobody takes these types of activists seriously anymore. Because there is no scale. Everything is either you served or everyone is evil. It's either a Twitter joke or it's some level of evil.
Yeah, and somehow they usually do both.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think?
She's very smug, the way that she raises an eyebrow at everyone.
Well, also, the guys were having a discussion that she could have very easily been a part of. Like, she could have interjected with something that was nothing like that. And it's not like anyone would have been like, no, you're not, it's not your turn to talk. She's also doing them a disservice by acting like them fighting to get words in on a 4-person interview is somehow more about misogyny than just getting your word in during an interview.
I bet she thought Paul Mescal was manspreading too.
Probably.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.